Hey, it's Brent Conley with Team Conley. I've been a licensed real estate agent and broker for almost 20 years now. I've sold a tremendous amount of property in Arizona for the last 20 years, and I couldn't have done it with so many great agents that I am lucky enough to work with. Also with our clients that just keep coming back year after year. I'm so grateful for all of you. And if you're watching this, thank you very, very much for supporting our team in the Arizona real estate market. So I wanted to talk to you today about the top 10 things a seller should do prior to listing their home for sale. And I wrote down some notes, so I'm going to be reading my notes on my laptop right here, and just wanted to put this out there for everybody out in social media world and on YouTube, so you can get to know me and get to know some of our team. So we're going to be doing a series of information so we can continuously educate you as our potential clients and help you along the process get informed and truly informed about everything about real estate of what you're going to go through listing and buying a home. So let's get started here. The top 10 things. The number one thing is declutter your home and depersonalize your home. Now, decluttering, if you've lived there for a long time, you've probably collected a whole bunch of stuff. I know we have with my family, and I'm always taking stuff to the dump and throwing things away. And then after a while, it just sits there for a long period of time because someday I'm going to use that stuff. And that's, selling a home is a perfect time to start cleaning out all that stuff. So remove all the personal items. Now, we all have pictures on our staircases and through our hallways, in our bedrooms of our loved ones and our friends and our family, distant family and stuff. All the experts say to take all that stuff down so the people visiting your home are going to envision themselves living there, and they can't envision themselves living there with personal items from your family in the home. So I've sold properties multiple ways, with people's personal items all over the property. And I've sold properties where it has been decluttered and depersonalized, and it typically does sell faster. And I get more money for the property when you declutter and depersonalize the property. So consider that. The next one is complete any necessary repairs. Now, the necessary repairs are just the obvious things that need to get repaired. So door handles or locks, cabinetry, drawers, tile that can be easily replaced. Carpet if it's completely stained because you had kids and they spilled stuff everywhere like my kids, and stuff like that. So the maintenance items is a big issue sometimes because that just puts the impression that the home wasn't properly taken care of year after year, even though a lot of times it was just like life's busy, right? So it just puts a bad taste in the potential buyer's mouth sometimes, and they use it for a negotiation strategy of like, hey, we got to fix all this stuff. So we always want to make sure that the necessary repairs are done. We also want the health and safety repairs done prior, because that stuff always comes up on the list. And when we do, we get a form called the BINSR, the buyer's request and seller's response form, with the repairs that they're wanting to get completed. The next thing is clean the property, clean the house. So a lot of times I'll see, we'll go into people's homes and maybe they've had a house cleaner and they just haven't done really deep cleaning. And that's so important, so the grime and the dirt isn't there. And I know everybody watching this probably has a spotless home, but in a lot of cases, we list property and we've got to go through an extra step of hiring deep cleaners, and they're $300 or $400 to really deep clean the house. The really bad ones end up being $600 or $700. So if you do it yourself, you're going to save a lot of money, and go ahead and make sure that the presentation is correct when we bring people into your property. Okay. The other thing that we do is we also either recommend stagers, or one of our professional real estate agents comes, visits the property that has staging experience, and they have a different eye. So I don't always have that eye, so I rely on Rebecca, I rely on Michelle and Erica to go to these properties and say, hey, let's use your expertise of cleanliness and really, an eye for staging the property. Okay, furniture should be over here. This feng shui works for that. And it's always a good idea to, on a listing level, to stage a property properly. And we seem to help get more money for the property when it's staged properly. The next thing is enhance your curb appeal. It's your first impression when somebody drives up to the house. So I've listed properties for the last 20 years, and sometimes the landscaping's not done to a good level, or a upper level that is acceptable to a buyer. We can't always control what everybody's thinking, but we do know statistically that we can pull a higher sales price and we can get more people into the house when the curb appeal is matching, high expectations when they pull up to the property. So one of the things that we see a lot, and this kind of goes under the cleaning piece as well, is stained driveways from oil leaks and things that happen in the front driveway. So it's a great idea to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever your favorite hardware store is, and get some concrete washer. And it is a chemical that pulls out those stains that are deeply enrooted into the concrete, and at least the surface ones. And then we can pressure wash those. So if you can hire a pressure washer, or if you have one at home, it's always a good idea to do that. And the walkway, if it's cement walkway all the way up to the property, go ahead and pressure wash that. It'll make a huge impact on your property. All right, the next thing is organize and tidy up your storage spaces. So this is a big one, guys. The tidying up, I've got 2 kids. I've got a dog or 2 dogs and a cat and a turtle, and we don't have the fish anymore, but we've got a busy house. And our storage areas for towels and sheets and blankets and everything, they get overwhelmed with stuff. Right? We're hiding it in there, especially if we have company coming over, throw it in the closet. And I learned that from my parents a long time ago. Wink, wink. So anyways, it's time to throw some of that stuff out and declutter it, and make it so it's wide open and they can envision their own stuff going in there versus it all falling out when you open the closet door or the drawers and so on and so forth. So consider that. The next piece, this is a tough thing to even talk about, because I have pets, is remove pets and items that are pet related. So there's a lot of people out there that don't have pets, which is shocking. I'm like, who doesn't have a pet? But there's a lot of people that don't have pets. So if there's dog toys all over the place, if there is stuff in the backyard that hasn't been picked up, and there's things that are showcasing pets, there's hair, pet dandruff and things, we need to clean that stuff up. As far as removing the pets, animals get stressed out when strangers are in their house, right? I know it's your house, but the pets think it's their house. They're in charge. So it's a great idea to remove them when we have showings. And so one of the things that we do is we limit the hours of showing if it's an occupied property. So instead of having showings 7 days a week, we want to try to have showings, 2 or 3 of those days per week, and we just limit a 2-3 hour period. That way we can remove the pets if possible, put them in the garage or something, and if it's not that hot outside. And that way we can be accommodating to the potential buyers for your property. Okay, the next thing is set a realistic price. Now, I've taken listings that are $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 overpriced. And I have done this over the course of my career, and I track the results. Typically, we stay on the market a lot longer, and that's a detriment to some of my clients because their expectations are not being met. If a client says, hey, Brent, I need to sell this property in the next 30 days, but I want all my money out of the property. Well, there's a couple different strategies, right? A lot of my clients want to overprice the property, which doesn't always serve them and their ultimate goal or needs. There's other things that we're going to talk about when we meet, or one of my agents on my team meets with you, and we're going to figure out the exact best price for you that's acceptable for you. And we're going to then try to go a little bit higher. But we can accomplish that sometimes by creating a bidding war, by lowering the price a little bit. We can create that with going with the exact price, the last 3 comps sold in the neighborhood. And then sometimes when the market is appreciating, then we can go a little bit higher, and we're going to catch that wave going up. And then I'm going to negotiate the heck out of it, and we're going to get even more money for you and your property. So, all right, we're going to talk about that. That's a big discussion. I want to make sure that you guys are winning every single time. And so I'm okay with overpricing some of the properties. But if it doesn't have great curb appeal, if it's cluttered, it's not depersonalized, and all the stuff that we're talking about today, it's a harder thing to do when we list your property, is to get more money. So all of these are very, very important for you to consider. The next thing is hire a great real estate agent and team to sell your property that has experience in negotiation, that has experience in listing and selling property for a long period of time. And we may not be the right team for you. And a lot of times we are. But I will be honest and upfront with you every step of the way. You're in the driver's seat. You're going to make all those decisions. And we're just going to have a general discussion to see if, one, we're the right agents for you, and can we actually accomplish getting you the best price in the marketplace. I think we can. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to plan for showings. I just touched on this briefly a little bit ago about, hey, we're gonna really control who is going into your property. I don't like letting people into your property without a pre-qualification letter from a lender. I want somebody, okay, that is a licensed loan officer or a bank, to have someone's social security number, to have done a pre-qual that they have a job, they can afford the property, before we let them into your house. And I think this is vitally important, and not every single listing agent out there and not every single realtor out there really controls that. Our team does. We're not letting people into your property unless they're pre-qualified. That's one of my sticklers. I don't necessarily like open houses with everybody coming in to the property that isn't a real buyer, putting foot traffic and through your property. There's safety concerns. So that's another piece that we're going to discuss when we decide to get on the phone or meet in person, or however you want to start gathering more information. But thank you in advance for being on my YouTube channel and considering us. So the next thing is, let's gather all the necessary documents to properly be ready to sell your property, because we're going to do our job. We're going to do everything we can to expose your property to the marketplace. We make outbound phone calls. We have websites that are generating online leads, potential people, they're not pre-qualified yet, but potential buyers to your property. Our first chance to gather those people is online, right? Because that's kind of a funnel that we're trying to bring them into the property. So we want to be ready for you selling the property when it comes time. We're confident that we're gonna get offers for your property, and you're gonna be in the driver's seat to say yay or nay, or how we're gonna counter this offer, or if we can create the bidding war that has been going on for quite some time, we're going to do that as well. And even today, with the market dynamics that are today, we've got like 10 listings right now, 6 in escrow. We're negotiating on 3 more, and we're having a lot of success. And even though we've actually lost about 60-70% of the buyers that were in place about 6 months ago because the interest rates rose up. So we're doing our jobs, marketing the property, calling agents, and encouraging them to show our listings. So, but the paperwork, so the documents that you're going to need are, understanding the mortgage information. So we're going to give that to the escrow company, and they're going to call and get the payoffs and everything. If your home is paid off already, and we want to understand, where your tax records are, and are you current on the property taxes? And so all of these things are really important. We'll go over that in depth when we meet and talk a little bit more. So I hope you found this somewhat educational, and I thank you for watching. My telephone number is 602-502-3195, and our website is teamconleysalesaz.com. Thanks for watching. Take care.